Our program at Rankin focuses around the high-performance racing industry. We build racing engines throughout the semester. We learn all of the machining procedures and techniques and theory involved in building racing engines. And then we have a tuning semester where we cover everything from factory vehicle tuning to full-on race car tuning, chassis dynamics, nitrous, turbochargers, superchargers. It's really a fun program. We have students that when they leave here go to work in racing engine shops. Some of them are race car drivers, some of them go to work in auto body shops, some of them tuning shops. There's a really wide array of where the students go. But it's a neat time to be a part in their life to help them along. I'm Jim Gray, a high-performance racing instructor here at Rankin Technical College in St. Louis, Missouri. And today I'm here with another high-performance racing instructor, Jason Gann, and one of our students, Shauna Walmershauser. Today we're going to be doing a disassembly on a 5.4-liter Ford engine out of a 2003 Ford Econoline van. It has over 1 million miles on it, and we can't wait to get it apart to see how little it wears inside of it due to the Schaeffer Oil.
My name is Tom Bauman. I am the president of Security Transport Services Incorporated. We have a Ford E150, and we haven't had much maintenance at all other than regular oil changes and keeping up with the fluids and changing tires and brakes. Today we are 11 miles from 1 million, and barring anything terrible from happening, we're going to go over 1 million miles today. It's been kind of exciting for us to see if that could actually make it.
Here goes, boys. Look at that.
When I heard that Schaeffer's Oil Company had a 1 million mile engine, I was pretty excited to be able to even get to see it, much less get to disassemble it.
When I heard about the 1 million mile engine, I was kind of skeptical. The condition of the engine on the outside was evident that it had seen a lot of road mileage and a lot of time on the highway.
Engines like that don't ever go that many miles, so to hear of one that they have that they could still drive to our facility, I was really excited to see on the inside of it.
You start by pulling the valve covers off?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't need that hooked up. Cool. Wow.
Wow.
Nice catch.
Very clean.
It is very clean.
Yeah, that is amazingly clean. There's no buildup in any way of any kind.
Well, look at this casting pocket. Yours has got the same pocket right up here where the oil stands?
Yeah.
Mine's clean.
There's hardly any discoloration either from the oil. The detergent's doing a great job.
You notice that the cam lobes, where they are spinning inside the engine, the oil normally will keep that area clean, and then next to the area will normally have a varnish buildup, and there is no buildup at all. You can barely even see a shadow of where the oil was slinging around inside the oil pan.
So I guess we'll pull the front cover off next.
Oh, wow. Look how clean that joker is.
Equally as clean in the front cover area.
I would expect that to be really nasty.
This is an area of the engine that doesn't get as much heat in the front. It's pretty common to sludge up in this area and have a lot of buildup and varnish, and there's very minimal. It's very, very clean.
Yeah.
The guides look new, the chain looks new, still tension on it, everything feels like a new one. Now we'll take off the chain tensioners and remove the timing chain so that we can pull the guides off and remove the cylinder head. Very little wear on the guides. There's no real pronounced wear whatsoever. These are plastic against a metal surface, so it's pretty common to see these really worn, especially after that many miles, and these still look very new. We'll remove the cylinder heads. Very clean, just a minor carbon buildup. There's no wear to feel really in the cylinder wall.
The only debris that I have over here looks like some drop off that came through the intake manifold when they were taking it out of the truck with the van.
My side I have 100% just carbon and
Yep.
a slight little bit of witness of rust where there's been condensation when the engine's shut off. There's no wear that you can feel in the cylinder whatsoever.
Yep, this is cylinders the same way. And you can still see hash marks in these cylinders. We're going to remove the oil pan with the engine on the engine stand as it sits now. That's done in order if there's any debris in the sump of the pan, that dirt would stay in the pan and not be on the rotating assembly. Should we invert the motor, any dirt or any debris in the pan would end up in the rotating assembly. Look at that.
That is amazing. It looks brand new. There's nothing even in the sump of it. It looks like brand new oil in the sump.
Wow.
And there's the water. Oh wow.
Yeah. No? Wow. Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
This is where most of the discoloration you would see from the oil getting hot or giving up and baking on stuff, and very little discoloration. Still tight. There's no excessive side clearance. No visual grooving or wearing in the side of it. Feels very low mileage. Next step will be to remove the rods and pistons. Connecting rod bearings look like they were just put in a few miles ago. Very, very, very minor touching on the edge of the bearing, which indicates that the crankshaft might have been under a pretty good load at some point in time, like the vehicle was really heavy, but there's no wear due to any dirt or due to a lack of anything with the oil.
You can still see the marks in the bearing.
Where the bearing was
manufacturing marks in the bearing.
Here you can still see the same thing that you're describing. The only thing that I see is where you can see that the crankshaft's flexed a little bit under a
This one's
load.
doing it too.
Yeah.
It's got shoulder wear.
Look at this. Look at the skirts on the piston. The Teflon coating has somewhat been worn through, but that's common after about 20 to 30,000 miles in most engines, and usually they become pretty galled after that. They will show a lot of scoring. These look like they just kind of were polished smooth. We'll roll it back over and remove the crankshaft and see what the main bearings look like. You have to get this on camera. There are some numbering marks from the factory when the bearings are made, and they're actually on there with ink, and they're still present. No visual wear in here whatsoever. The only thing you see is the front one, or the front bearing inside the block will always show just a little bit of wear in the front because the timing chain pulls on it. So it has a little bit of extra loading going up. All of the accessories of the engine are really load the front bearing, so there's a little bit more there, but that's there's not any measurable wear there, just a tiny shiny spot. The rest of them look like they were just installed in the engine. I have this bore gauge set up to 3-inch 551 and 4/10, which is going to which is going to tell me how far the bores are from what they were when they were originally honed. When they were originally honed, they were honed within the factory spec, and 3-inch 551 and 6 to 8 tenths would have been the top of the tolerance. What I'm getting here is I'm showing about a 2,000ths wear from when the engine was brand new. Each number on this gauge represents 1,000th of an inch. So I'm showing about between 2 and 2.5 thousandths of an inch wear over the course of a million miles, which is virtually unheard of. I would expect this engine to have 8 to 10 thousandths wear in that amount of time. What I'm doing is moving up and down in the cylinder bore to show any taper that might be there. There's natural taper that occurs by the way the rings expand against the cylinder wall. As you can see, going from cylinder to cylinder, we're getting exact repeatability. I'm seeing between 1 and 6 tenths wear to 2.5 thousandths wear, which, to be honest, I've never seen anything like it on something like this. That's amazing. After disassembling this entire engine today, I have to admit I'm a bit surprised at what we found inside. I've seen engines that had only had 10 or 15,000 miles on them that have more dirt inside them and more wear than what we've seen here. All of the main bearings look completely even. There's no caking of anything in the block. There's no tarnishing, no varnishing, no discoloration, no signs of additional heat due to oil failing. Just an incredibly clean engine for 1 million miles. It far surpassed anything that I thought we would see. I expected it to be somewhat clean, but not like this. This is simply amazing what we found in here today. And if you look over here at the parts that we found, we started by disassembling the top half and taking it down. We found minimal wear in the cam sprockets and in the timing chain area. We moved on to the oil pan, took it off in a vertical position so that we could see exactly what was in there without dumping anything back on top of the engine. Inside the oil pan, we found absolutely nothing. There's no even discoloration, no oil baking, no anything. Everything is completely clean inside of it. Moving forward, taking the oil pump out of it. The oil pump itself still looks like new and still feels like new. I didn't see what the engine's oil pressure was, but I can guarantee you from seeing the bearing clearances and the tolerances of the parts that we've measured, it would have had to have been just like it was when it was brand new. Taking the rods and pistons out, we've seen very, very minimal wear on the piston skirts on both sides. We've seen very, very minimal wear in the rings. Compression rings still doing a very good job. Seal was still very good and positive in this engine. The oil was doing a very, very good job of doing that. The rod bearings themselves look like they were just made. You can still see the machining marks inside of the aluminum on the bearings. You can see good clean oil washout on the sides of the connecting rods, indicating a good detergent package is really keeping things clean. This is a high pressure area as the oil is leaving the connecting rods, so it usually washes clean, but this is exceptionally clean for that many miles. Moving over to the main bearings here that we took out. The main bearings, as we noted earlier, still had the numbers that were inked into them whenever they were from the manufacturer. You can still see all of the machining marks in them as they were made brand new. Any markings in the bearings whatsoever we've deemed to be due to crankshaft flex whatsoever, which is completely common in a vehicle of this size. Amazing lack of bearing wear. And the crankshaft itself, we've measured it and can't measure any wear whatsoever. Like, you can't feel anywhere. It virtually looks like it was just polished and was brand new to assemble in a new engine. I would attribute the lack of wear to the integrity of the oil by far. I've tested a lot of racing oils and a lot of just over-the-road production oils, and I'm very impressed with the lack of wear seen in this, that I would definitely attribute it to the oil's integrity.
If you're leery of trying Schaeffer's because of the price of the oil, I would really suggest that you look at the quality that's put into the product and how much longer it'll allow you to keep a more expensive component running in good condition.
If I heard someone was considering trying out Schaeffer's, I would probably be a huge proponent for them to try it. I was before the million-mile test, and after the million-mile test, I even more so am. I myself have ran Schaeffer's racing oil in engines for about 10 years now, and I still am amazed at what we're seeing in here today. I've seen very little wear in racing engines that had 2,000 and 3,000 laps on them using their oil. This completely exceeds what I would have expected to see in anything from a vehicle standpoint. 1 million miles I would tell you it's impossible, but after seeing this today, I really wonder what the limits are.